Heavenly Delusion just absolutely gut punched me, just right in the gut. That hurt so bad. It's like one of those episodes where it's very heavy. The entire episode was heavy, but it's just the end of it. The end of the episode is where the gut punch is. The realization point that, yeah, we're totally doing the two different timeline thing. Like, it's all but confirmed at this point. There's no going, my mind's not going back on this anymore. This episode confirmed it. We are dealing with the nursery is in the past, and this is the future outside in Tokyo. And man, did I not want to have the confirmation point, basically, for me be an episode like this. Like, not like this, not like this. Yes, for those that missed it, and my theory and what this feels like this is going for is Usami and the one that they killed, which I think they were naming her Hana. Yeah, that's Mimihime and Shiro. I no doubt in my mind that is them too. That ending scene pretty much confirmed it. She was in a cave, she's stuck somewhere, she's not happy, and then at some point somebody reaches out for her. After Usami takes his own life. She was waiting for him. She was trapped, she was scared, and then suddenly Usami shows up, / Shiro shows up finally to pull her out of the cave, to go into the afterlife. Ugh, I don't want that, but that's literally what they're saying there. And it makes sense because technically Shiro's eyes are gray, and he likes tinkering with things. Everything kind of fits. And then, of course, the final nail in the coffin, bad choice of words. Yes, he had one of the buttons from their shirts. If you look at the nursery, all the kids have the same uniform on, and their buttons have that little emblem on it. And he had one of those buttons. That's why he was kind of rolling around. So I don't want it to be true, but it is. Oof. It's just, again, further in the future. And, oh, what a gut punch. And honestly, it's like for the most of this episode, I felt the weight of it. It sucks. I mean, thinking about somebody who's just stuck and unable to move, unable to die, like even unable for herself to pass on because she'll become this monster. She's been kept there. Trapped there. Mimihime has been trapped there for this whole time because if she dies, she'll become one of these things. And we're confirming a lot of stuff there, which I'll get into in a minute. So there was a sense of, I was gut punched just based on the idea of somebody being trapped for so long. And there's no telling how long they've been actually living. We still haven't really got a full sense on how long the children from the nursery actually live. She could have been there for a long time. And finally, she's got the chance to finally leave. And it is a sad thing to think about, even for a human lifespan. It is a sad thing to think about how Usami / Shiro has been tortured this whole time, keeping her alive. I knew he was going to be a good person. I just knew he was going to be a good person. Taking care of all these people for all this time. He mentioned the fact that he's not even a doctor. The only reason he's been helping people is because she likes seeing him tinker with things. And again, that ties in with the nursery. And then finally having that moment where she can finally pass on. All that stuff was heavy, even without the perspective that it was Mimihime. It was a very well done scene. I love the ending part where you finally have that moment where they read the message. It says, thank you. Thank you for giving me your eye. Then we kind of find out at that point, oh, the eye that she's using is his eye. He sacrificed one of his own eyes so that she'd be able to see. Giving her that last chance to see the sky. All this stuff, the worry that he had of letting her become a man-eater, letting her die as a human, all that stuff was really, really powerful. But it wasn't until I connected that it's Mimihime and Shiro, that's when the real impact happened. Because there is a sense throughout the episode, I'm like, we just met these people. Like, why is the story so focused on these two? What exactly is so important about these two characters? Why are we giving such an entire episode to the death of a stranger? Because they're not a stranger. It's because it's Mimihime and Shiro. Ugh. And then the whole scene with him going to the rooftop, sitting there, kissing her on the forehead, ending his own life, and having this right after what happened in another show that I won't spoil that happened this week. It's just like, ugh. And I understand it a lot more with the perspective. I don't understand it because I don't like that idea. I don't like the idea of taking your own life or anything like that, but I sort of understand this idea from Shiro's perspective. That's all he had. She's all he had. This whole time, that's all he had. And yes, he loved her. It sucks, but it's so good. I was not expecting that from this week's episode. I really wasn't. I was expecting faction fighting between this cult group and the Doctor's group, maybe revealing the fact that the Doctor is a good guy, and at some point revealing, I don't know. I was technically expecting the one that they wanted to kill to be somebody important. I was joking the fact that being Robin, but Robin apparently did work with Usami, which is another good connection there. But I wasn't expecting gut punch like this. I wasn't expecting technically the death of a main cast character in a deceptive way. But so much was technically revealed in this episode. It was funny because like halfway through the episode, they reveal the fact that Usami reveals the fact that this disease is what's turning them into man-eaters. He said, I need you to kill this person because they will then turn into a man-eater if I just unplug things. So in this moment, they're revealing the fact that yes, indeed, the man-eaters are from humans with this disease, which I would argue based on what's happening at the nursery side of things, it's implying that this is technically a disease that's only so far revealed affecting the children that are being raised from this lab. So not necessarily humans, but the creations that they're creating here, because they're not supposed to have diseases. But it's revealing the fact that eventually they get this disease, and then they succumb to death, they will become a man-eater. And the way that he was trying to prevent that was cutting off limbs, and thus revealing why he cut off this lady's limbs, and everybody has prosthetics is because he's seen an infection of this disease, and he was cutting it off so they don't become man-eaters. Again, he was technically helping them. My theory was that they went down into that garage area, got their limbs cut off, and he saved them. But no, he probably seen that this one lady from the cult side had disease and was chopping it off. So again, that goes to my theory that I had before, that a lot of people in the current time with, Maru and them is a bunch of people that were at least birthed from people from the lab. Again, for those that missed my last video, the whole theory I have is that you have the time with everybody like Mimihime, Tokyo, and all of them, the nursery side. At some point, this day of fate's going to happen. And so they're trying to create a perfect human being that can last through all things. And at some point, that day of fate's probably going to happen or something, and the lab's going to get messed up. And they're going to spread throughout the world. And then cut way forward, now we have Maru and Kiroko, and they're traveling around, and technically running into a lot of people that were of the lineage of the nursery. I didn't even think that Kiroko was probably one. But the disease is still present, and it's affecting a lot of people. So we have a lot of these bodies that are able to live through a lot of stuff out here now. It's just we need to get rid of this disease at this point, because that's what's creating the man-eaters. But yeah, all that stuff is super good. Apparently we have the rise of the cult, although it sort of implies they're all dead. I like the fact that they had this whole breakout of this war between these cult people because the lady fell down and hit her head, and so they blame it on them, and so they go in there and they rush into the hospital. Usami's like, I don't care. I mean, it was all for her. I was just taking care of people because she liked me tinkering with stuff. I don't care about that place. So the cult comes in there and they take over this big old hospital with all its generators, and this guy is like, ha ha ha, a new order. I will rule over everything. No more factions. I'm going to be the greatest or whatever. And then it shows the parking lot, and there's one more thing left. So I'm like, maybe we should imply they're all dead. Like, they're just all dead, whatever. I thought they were going to start some stupid thing with this big group rising up, but I'm like, no, it's implying they're all dead, whatever. They also did touch on a little conflict at the very end of it, and the idea that Kiroko obviously being upset that Usami took his life because they said that Robin worked under him, like trained under him. And so she figured, I can get some information from Usami, and then Usami, of course, ends his life. And that obviously shocks her, but at the same time, Maru takes her attention away from the situation and the fact that he's breaking down because he feels that his hands only bring death. I'm not like Usami. I'm not like Robin. My hands take lives. Hitting on the fact that he was obviously very broken by the fact that he had to take her life. And additionally, he's pretty much taking upon himself the blame of everybody that's died that day. The fact that he directly killed Hana / Mimihime. The fact that because of her death, Usami / Shiro took his life, and because he killed the man-eaters in the parking lot, they rushed in there and took over the facility, and there's going to be more death. Though Kiroko is trying to sort of ease his mind the idea that when he kills the man-eaters, they don't kill people, thus you're saving lives. I'm curious how long that's going to drag out, because that's kind of a conflict that I'm not so interested in seeing them kind of handle. I don't know. They could do something interesting with it, but I don't know. It sucks. I don't know why. I just like Mimihime. I think because she's got a goofy looking face. I love her. So, yeah, sucks to see. Interesting to see that Shiro becomes a doctor, though. I mean, that's kind of an interesting... I guess it's not necessarily that he was a doctor. It's more of the fact that he was amputating. Like, he was very basic, not basic level doctor, but essentially a doctor that's only essentially trying to remove limbs. It's not like he's trying to find a cure or anything. He's literally just chop off and fix the leg. His whole thing was more tinkering with things, creating prosthetics. That's why everybody was just losing limbs. He wasn't that he was trying to cure it or anything. Like, you just chop... Here's a new prosthetic. So it makes sense to Shiro because he was always kind of the computer nerd, tinkerer type of person. So it made sense that that's all he's technically doing is creating these machines to sort of keep her alive and everything. It just, again, connecting the two of them sucks. I like Shiro and Mimihime. Hopefully they had a kid before everything kind of went downhill with her. It does make me kind of start to wonder if we've possibly seen other people. I was meaning to look back at Maru specifically, the lady that took care of Maru, the one that Kiroko knew. She also got inflicted by the disease. Now again, it doesn't necessarily have to be somebody that we've seen face in the facility. It could be a child of somebody from the facility, but it sort of makes me wonder, everybody that they've run into so far, who it could possibly be from the original cast from the nursery. Now, based on how old Usami looked as opposed to Shiro, sort of implies there is quite an age difference here. But of course, like I said before, how long does it take them to look that old? And yes, them not being technically human, there could be a difference here in exactly how long it takes for them to age. And each one of them could age differently. Because honestly, Mimihime didn't look too old. She looked very young. Could that be the disease or whatnot is a question mark. But anyways, good stuff. Good stuff. Rip, Shiro, and Mimihime. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, make sure that like button down below, comment, let me know what you thought of the episode. If you know the source material, I don't need answers to my questions, and my speculation is just speculation. But I appreciate you guys keeping it tight-lipped, especially for other people that might see the comments. Additionally, if you're new to this channel, make sure that subscribe button so you get all my content. I do news, reviews, first impressions, top list. If it's anime, it's pretty much here. Additionally, if you want to support the channel more, I have a Patreon link, tips link, super thanks button down below, as well as a membership button. I greatly appreciate everybody that supports the channel. You guys mean so much to me, and y'all take care.